If you've gardened for any length of time, you've probably done it without thinking. The season ends, plants slow down or die back, and you grab the stem and yank it out of the ground. Clean bed, fresh start. That's how most of us were taught. But here at Rootshaven Grounds, I want to gently challenge that habit, because pulling plants is quietly damaging the very thing we depend on most, our soil. Once you understand what's really happening underground, you'll never look at plant removal the same way again. And the good news? There's a better, simpler, and far more soil-friendly way that works whether you're growing in a backyard plot, raised beds, or containers. Let's dig in. Healthy soil is not just dirt, it's a living ecosystem. Beneath the surface, billions of organisms are at work. Bacteria, fungi, earthworms, nematodes, and countless microbes we'll never see. Together they form what soil scientists call the soil food web. What about diseased plants? This is one place where nuance really matters. If a plant died from a serious soil-borne disease, you may not want to leave the roots behind. In those cases, removal can help reduce pathogen buildup, but even then, aggressive pulling isn't always the answer. Gently loosening the soil and removing the main root mass with minimal disturbance is far less damaging than just yanking everything out. For healthy plants, productive crops, and even many spent annuals, cutting is almost always the better choice. Weeds. Pull or cut. This is where honestly a lot of gardeners get nervous. If I don't pull weeds, won't they just come back? The answer depends on the weed. Annual weeds are easily controlled by cutting them at soil level before they set seed. Without leaves, they can't photosynthesize, and they die off pretty quickly while still feeding soil life. Perennial weeds with deep taproots or rhizomes may need repeated cutting. Each time you cut them, you force the plant to draw energy from its root reserves. Eventually, those reserves are exhausted and the plant weakens or dies, all without tearing your soil apart. This approach takes patience. I dies than dasan chai. So markets dies in stations, but it rewards you with healthier soil and far fewer weed explosions over time. Why does this method improve soil structure in the long run? Well, one of the most powerful benefits of leaving roots in the ground is natural soil structuring. As roots decay, they leave behind organic channels. These channels become highways for water, air, and beneficial organisms. Earthworms follow them, microbes colonize them, and future plant roots, they just grow into them so easily. Over several seasons, beds managed this way become noticeably softer and more crumbly, even without any tilling. Water penetrates deeper. Plants establish faster. Drought stress is reduced. This is especially valuable in heavy clay soils or compacted garden beds, where mechanical loosening often does more harm than good. And this works in small gardens too. You don't need acres of land to benefit from this approach. Raised beds, container gardens, and even grow bags all respond beautifully to cut and leave practices. In containers, decomposing roots add organic matter and help prevent the soil from collapsing into a dense mass over time. In raised beds, this method dramatically reduces how often you need to top up with compost. For gardeners working with limited resources, this is honestly one of the most cost-effective soil improvements you can make. Cutting plants instead of pulling them requires a shift in how we think about clean gardens. A bed with old roots in it may not look tidy, but underground, it's thriving. Once you start viewing roots as soil builders rather than waste, gardening becomes less about constant correction and more about cooperation with nature. And the results really do show. Healthier plants, fewer inputs, better harvests, year after year. Bringing it home at Rootshaven Grounds, we're all about working with the soil, not against it. This simple change, cutting plants instead of pulling them, is honestly one of the easiest ways to move toward regenerative, resilient gardening without extra tools, money, or effort. If you're just starting out, this practice will help you build great soil faster. And if you've been gardening for years, it might be the missing piece that explains why your beds haven't improved the way you expected. Try it this season. Watch how your soil responds. Feel the difference when you plant the next crop. A final word: healthy soil is built quietly, patiently, and often invisibly. Every time you choose to cut instead of pull, you're investing in that hidden world beneath your feet. If this article helped you see your garden differently, share it with a fellow gardener who might still be yanking plants out by the roots. And don't forget to subscribe to Rootshaven Grounds on YouTube for more practical soil-first gardening wisdom that stands the test of time. Let's grow better, starting from the ground up.